Hi there, my name is Kunal Joshi, and this is my term project for Carnegie Mellon University's 15112 Fundamentals of Programming and Computer Science class. For my term project, I made a Latin translator, duly named LATRANS. The code is included right here, and it's around 1,600 lines in total, and my helper file is around 100 lines. So let's start with the application and discuss a little bit about how the translator works. So as the translator is loading, the reason why it's loading is it's creating a dictionary. My translator gets information and its dictionary from the internet. So in order to search for words properly, it needs to sort this dictionary that it gets from the internet. In order to search for a word, the most efficient option would likely be binary search. And for binary search, your list or set needs to be sorted. Unfortunately, if you've ever seen a Latin dictionary, it's not sorted at all, or not sorted to the way that we need it to be. It has a variety. Words have principal parts, and they have other forms, those are listed not in alphabetical order. There's only one word within a Latin dictionary which is listed in alphabetical order. So we need to take every one of the 100,000 words included within the dictionary, and then sort it as it should be in order to have an efficient binary search algorithm. So this is the main screen and the splash screen, as some people call it, for my application. You can press any key to enter the translator. So this is the basic home screen. It's also the translate screen as well. On the top right corner, you can see the help button. You can press this for any quick references that you need on how the translator works. If you go back here, on the bottom, you can see the 3 different applications included here. So you have a conjugator and a decliner also included, and we can touch upon those in a little bit. But right now we have the translator. So let's start translating. So my translator does not support any complex constructions. That includes ablative absolutes, indirect statements, any complex Latin grammar quirk, which you sometimes learn in higher level Latin classes. It does support simple sentences though. So it includes the first, you can input a subject, a verb, an object, and possibly an indirect object, and it will translate as it should be. It also supports all 5 Latin declensions, all 4 Latin conjugations, and all 3 basic verb tenses, so future, imperfect, or the past, and the future tense. So let's start translating. Let's start with the basic sentence. So we have puer. Let's choose a verb, portant, for example, which is carry. And the final one, which is our object, which is, let's say, libros, which is books. You press Control Shift, the translator will translate for you. Now, you can also switch tenses. So because my translator supports all 3 basic tenses. So you can switch the ending to portabat, and it will change the translation as it should. You can also change it to portabit, which means it switches it to future, and you'll get the boy will carry books. My translator also supports all 4 conjugations. So porto is in the first conjugation. Sedet, which is sit, is in the second conjugation. So this won't necessarily make any sense, but the boy sits books. A third conjugation verb would be, for example, mito. So that means sent. So let's make it into the past just to spice it up a little bit. So mitebat. The boy sent books. And finally, you have the 4th conjugation. A sample word would be audeo, which means here. So let's do audit. The boy hears books. Doesn't necessarily make sense, but it supports all of these different things. My translator also supports adjectives. So you can enter an adjective. For example, let's talk about short books, because who doesn't like short books? So just breves libros. And the boy hears short books is another translation. Many times adjectives are omitted, and that's why one translation it has the adjective omitted, because sometimes when you translate you have to assume a variety of things, but that's a Latin grammar quirk. But the second translation here, you have the boy hears short books, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So let's move into some of the other things included here in the translator. You have a decliner. So Latin words have declensions and different word families. So you can enter a word of any form for a noun. Let's say we'll go for boy, so puer. And you can enter what form you want it in. So nominative, well, we can switch it to dative, for example, and we can switch it to plural to spice it up a little bit. Press Control-Shift, and you get the corresponding word. You can switch over to the conjugator, which is the exact same thing for verbs. You can enter a verb of any form. Let's choose amos, which means love. So you can switch it to second, imperfect, plural. There's Control-Shift, and amabatis is the correct form of ama. This is my translator. It has the grammar of Latin hard-coded into it. So it uses Latin grammar rules to translate words and to conjugate and decline them as well. Unfortunately, other main translators out there, such as Google Translate, don't necessarily take this into consideration, especially other things like word order, because my translator also supports any word order you'd like, because Latin word order doesn't necessarily matter. So let's have a little bit of fun. We can compare to Google Translate, compare LATRANS, essentially. Let's move over to Chrome. Let's bring out our Latin translator here. Alrighty. So let's choose a fun sentence. Let's do something like brewes, puelli, so short girls, amant, bitos, so that's usually blessed or joyful, biros, so short girls love blessed men or joyful men. Press Control-Shift, and the translations come out. So, the girls love blessed men, or short, the girls love blessed men. These are just a variety of other translations. Sometimes breves can mean a short catalog or shallow water. So you'll have another translation which also makes sense. The short catalogs love blessed men of a girl, if that makes any sense. Now we move over to Google Translate. Let's see how this works. Breves, puelli, amant, bitos, viros. Brief call girls love men. I mean, that doesn't necessarily make sense in my books, but I mean, that is an interesting translation that comes from Google Translate. So that is my term project for 15.1.12. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm always able to and open to talk. Thanks again, and have a good rest of your day.